I'm Harshal Shet, working as a Director of Pre-Sales and Application Support with Circular Edge. I'll give you a brief introduction about AtomIQ applications. The AtomIQ applications, they work on handheld devices, tablets, Windows computers, cell phones. Let me start you with the login process on how these applications work. So you can see here on my screen that there is an login page for the AtomIQ application. In this login page, I'll click on it to login. So I'll click on login, and then I have got a user ID and a password. So I'll just scan password here. And before I log in, I just wanted to take you into a quick peek here. So you can see here there is an Azure login. So if your company is using an SSO, using an Microsoft Azure or Active Directory account, then you can integrate with that as well. In this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a local user ID password which is created in the app, and I'm going to authenticate a user using that process. So I have entered my user ID and password, and you can see that now I have logged in and I am able to navigate into my screen here. Correct. So just to give an understanding that my screen, which is being shown from my computer, is being cast from the device which I'm holding in my hand. Let me give you a quick view into it. If you are able to see me, you can see that I have this device in my hand and I'm actually browsing through the screen, and that is what is appearing on my computer screen. Perfect. So I'll use this method to kind of walk you through this process. Okay, now since I have logged in here and each user account has got their own role, and based on their role, they get to see this menu. When we log in, on the top left corner, you will see that I have been logged into a home screen. So on the left hand side, what I see is a home screen. There is a small icon. This home screen, it gives me a couple of list of transactions that I want to inquire or keep track of. Okay. Along with that, you will also see these records. So these records are called pin records. That means you are interested in this record to track them for certain purpose. For example, you have a sales order which you want to track until it is shipped out of the organization, and you can keep a track of it. Or you have a purchase order to be received and you want to track it. You can keep this as your favorite record until that transaction happens. How to pin the record, I will walk you through in few minutes from now. Along with the home screen, you can see here there are several dashboards here. Now these dashboards are configured for the user ID. For an example, I would show here an inventory dashboard, and this inventory dashboard covers all the functions that an inventory user might want to perform. An inventory user would have typical tasks such as transferring of inventory from one location to another location, or issuing out material, or performing an adjust in transaction, or reclassifying an inventory, or even a pallet inquiry or an inventory inquiry. So these are typical natures of the transaction that an inventory user would like to perform. So just to share here, I'll click on pallet inquiry, and you can see here I have this pallet, and I will search my pallet barcode item number, and I'm choosing this barcode. Now this is a search inquiry which is working across the application, and you can see these are different pallets which are located and where they are located. You can also see what are the contents of this pallet, plus where they are located, how much items, is it a mixed pallet or a single pallet. So all of this is available here. Okay. Now in this dashboard, we have grouped these tasks which are pertaining to a warehouse user. So what I will do is I'll introduce to couple of features within this dashboard. So each of these tile, what we have here, contains certain icons, has number, has a name, and it has a color. The icon can be changed based on data sensitivity. For example, if the number of orders to be shipped has gone up or gone down, the arrows on the icon can be changed. That can represent and give a visual information that how my transactions are being performed. The number, what you see here, for an example, 5215, in this case, It shows the number of transactions performed by a user on a given day or in a given week or a given month, or it can be configured as per the needs of the organization. Below that, what you see as title as transfer, that is the name that describes the task to be performed by a user. The color of the tile can be changed based on tolerance limits. For example, you can have, say, if this tile value changes 20 or below, I want to mark it as red. And if it is above 20, I want to mark it as green. You can do that. In this example, we have this very high number of inventory inquiry transactions which have been performed, and therefore it is being marked as a red. So it kind of gives you a sensitivity of what is critical and which task needs attention. In the lower section of the tile, you will see that there are 4 icons. One is refresh, so you can see here as circular. Then we have share, so wherein you can share information to other users. You may have download, so you can download the transactions wherever relevant. And there is a bell icon, which is to notify. Now, each of these are configurable items. For an example, I am clicking a refresh, which means if there are more inventory transfers which occurred between certain period in time, my this number 5215 would advance to a different number based on the transactions performed. If I click on share here, I can share this information to other people or users that, hey, can you look at this transaction? Now, in case of warehouse user, they might not want to share this data to anybody. And that is why here we have created an access denied screen, because um, this is not authorized. The user is not authorized to perform this transaction. Similarly, we don't want the user to download this information. So if I click on download, even you are seeing an access denied screen. So that means you can control what action which user can perform. Okay. So what we are seeing here is there is a security element in every single area of this application. Now what I will do is I'll take you into a very simple inquiry, which is inventory inquiry. So if I click on invite inventory inquiry here, it takes me to the availability screen by item and branch. Now here I'll scan a barcode. So when I scan this barcode, the barcode appears, and along with that appears my item number and the description. You can see here this is a barcode, which is a numeric barcode available in the market. And you can look up this barcode, and that's an actual barcode for a dishwasher. So if you see here, I have a dishwasher item, and if I'm clicking a submit, it shows me what is my inventory of the dishwashers in my warehouse. So these are all Samsung dishwashers, and they are located with item, location, quantity, availability, and it also shows me how much commitment is there. How many is hard committed, how many are on purchase order, how many are soft committed or future committed. Along with this, you also see 4 different buttons down below, which kind of gives you an idea that you can perform the transactions directly from this inquiry. For example, you are seeing here a dishwasher located in RM1A01A, and you want to do an issue out transaction. You can directly create the issue out transaction from here. Again, these icons are configurable. They may be removed based on user security. You can add a different action here if you want to. Another feature for this availability inquiry, and this is all across the system, is I may scroll to the left and you can see there is a pin icon appears. So what does this do? When I pin this record, it is asking me, do you want to pin this record? So when I pin this record, it means this is my what do you call a transaction that is of interest to me, and I would like to see it when I log in on my home page. So I will click on pin yes. And now if I traverse to my home page, so I will click on my home page button and go to my home page. Now you can see here that transaction which I pinned is available here. You can see that dishwasher in RM1A01A location has got 500 quantity, and that is available for me to inquiry. So that means you can tag a transaction or a lot which you want to kind of track down. I can just unpin this transaction and it will go out of this inquiry. Now this no longer is of interest to me. I would just unpin it. Okay? So it is that easy. So I just unpinned the transaction.